to the Embassy World 8-Ball Pool Championships from the Stackis Hotel in Blackpool. It's quarter-finals time in the men's competition. We've had two already. This is the third one. Let's take a look at the results so far in the quarter-finals. World champion Carl Morris, 9-7 over Mick Hill. Mick Hill, one of the up-and-coming players at the moment, so that's a good victory for Carl Morris. Terry Hann, 9-4 over Neil Blake. Good result for Terry Hann, a former semi-finalist here. And coming up next, it's Darren Appleton from Pontefract in Yorkshire up against Australian Quinton Hann. Then it's the Frenchman, Yannick Beaufils, against the Fox, Lee Kendall from England. So, very interesting lineup in the quarterfinals. Two are already down, but this is the one everybody's been waiting for. Quinton Hann against Darren Appleton. With me to enjoy it, once again, Tony Holgate. And I know that there's a lot of excitement about this because of the type of players we've got on display today.
Yes, all the professionals are very excited about this. This is the tie of the round, really, for me. You've got two fiery characters on and off the table. They really like to pump the crowd up.
Both young, both very talented, but perhaps either of them, have they really fulfilled their potential yet?
Well, like I say before, Darren Appleton, you know, he's had a shaky World Championships in the past, but, you know, he likes to pot a ball, he'd get the crowd going, but if he misses them, his head goes down. And
a bit of a grudge match because, of course, Quinton Hann beat him in the last 32 this time last year.
Yes, and the score was 8-2. Yeah. Incredible result.
Darren wants to come back from that. Let's take a look then at these two players, starting with Quinton Hann from Australia. He's a very, very interesting player, the enigma, really, of Q Sports. He plays both snooker and pool, just aged 21. But look at his world ranking, 21. He's 26 in the world in snooker. He's had quarter-finalists in the Grand Prix in '98 and the Thailand Open in 1997. Was in the quarter-finalists there and was the 1994 World Under-21 Snooker Champion. What about his opponent from Yorkshire, from Pontefract, age 23, ranked 30th at the moment, and as Tony just said, perhaps hasn't achieved everything he wants yet. European champion in '98 and '99, and also you see there, as well as being the Masters champion in '98, a Springbok Cup champion. So Darren Appleton has seen the lights before. He knows what it's all about. But you just heard, we're interested in this because both these two players are very interesting on and off the actual table. Sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're cold. It's interesting. Which kind of player are we going to see? And when they both come together, that's going to make a lot of fireworks, isn't it?
That's right, Jonathan. Both players, when they start flowing, they like to let the crowd know it.
Who's going to take it?
Too tight to call for me, Jonathan.
All right, well, it is going to be the makings of a real classic here. One person who would never miss one of those, of course, is your MC, Alan Hughes.
Thank you, Jonathan, and what a match we have in store. First, we welcome the #1 player on the pro list after some terrific performances, capturing 4 major titles and the European Championship along the way. A real tough competitor. Can I ask you to welcome from Pontefract the very talented Darren Dynamite Appleton. And his brilliant opponent, a young Aussie from Melbourne who has lots of people's fancy to capture the title. Totally unpredictable, always entertaining. His massive box office all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, into the world quarter-final. Can I ask you to welcome the Wizard of Oz, Quinton Hann.
Yes, if you're a UK pool fan, this is one you can't afford to miss. Definitely one to whet the appetite. The UK professional #1 in Darren Appleton versus the upstart, brash Australian Quinton Hann. He breaks off here in frame #1 of this quarterfinal, a scheduled 17. First player to 9 will be through to the semis.
Open table.
Another look at the break-off from Quinton Hann. Not quite as much power as we've seen, but that's understandable with his snooker background. And a very interested spectator occupying the seat right beside me, a former England team manager. Certainly you know Darren Appleton very well, and you've heard an awful lot about the 21-year-old Australian Quinton Hann, Alan Bartlett. And Alan, we've got the best seats in the house for this one.
Yes, thank you very much, Jim. This would make grace any final of a World Championship. It's the one they've all been waiting for, And as far as I'm concerned, it's a toss of a coin who wins. The early frames are going to be very important, especially for Darren. He'll want to erase the memory of last year's defeat.
Seconds.
He's played the ball over the bottom corner pocket. And he's got a problem in the centre of the table surrounding the black. And I think he tried to pot that yellow, but it's not too bad. He didn't have the game on.
Another look at it, played with a little bit of inside side into the white, and that made the pot a little bit more difficult. He's occupying that pocket. Now we're going to get our first look at Quinton Hann. Came a long ways from Australia, and I was speaking with the Australian team captain, Alec Evernatus, earlier, and he said, this young fellow, without a doubt, has future world champion written all over him. It's just a question, is it going to be in snooker, or is it going to be an 8-ball pool? He says he's been seeing him make finishes in this game that are second to none. And Alec's been around an awful lot. He's seen a lot of very talented pool over the years. A very strong statement made about a very good player.
30 seconds.
And his first shot wasn't too bad. He tried to cover the corner bag, but it was a very difficult shot. Darren's managed to pass the yellow through there. He's still got this problem in the centre of the table. What's going to be very interesting is how Quinton copes if the match becomes very tactical. We know he's a very good potter. Snooker's a game of potting.
Seconds.
Darren will be looking to open these 3 yellow balls up as soon as he can. This is a very aggressive shot.
A trifle unlucky there, Alan. That could have worked out a lot better. He judged that well, taking the cue ball off the side cushion and straight into the yellows as intended.
Well, that shot sums up these 2 players. He's potted the ball over the bag and tried to split the 3 yellows up. Not the right shot for me, not the right shot for most players, but these players are extra special. He should have been splitting the balls up and leaving that ball as a saviour. But that isn't the way they play, these 2 lads.
30 seconds.
It's worked out nicely for Darren. That yellow ball up by the top pocket. It stops the red ball at the top of the table, passing into there. We may see Quinton double that red ball back down to the bottom left-hand pocket.
Seconds.
So Quinton right now, sorry Alan, just wanted to say that Quinton right now will definitely have his aggressive face on. He doesn't want to get this bogged down into a tactical battle. Left-handed.
You get the feeling these 2 players don't just want to beat each other, they want to prove to the other player just how good they are.
Huge crowd. Look at the Australian support. They don't think there's a doubt in the world that Quinton Hann not only will win this match, but will lift the title. A very confident lot.
And it's not just that, Jim. The Australians have been coming to these World Championships ever since they begun. They've won the team title once, but they've never got anywhere near the singles. And all of a sudden, Quinton Hann turns up and they've got a chance. He's put the white ball in such a position that he can play the plant. It's not going to be easy.
Yes, another look. We've seen a number of these pots missed, in fact, so early signs show very positive for Quinton.
Control of the white ball will be very difficult of this shot as well.
Well, he needed to be a bit lucky there, taking the cue ball into the awkward red, and it's not worked out for him. Another look at it. And now he's got a little bit more work to do than he would have liked.
And I think he feels forced into completing the finish, going for the finish. Very thin pot here. Decided to come off 2 cushions, 3 cushions.
Now, as he finished a little straight on this red to be able to dislodge the one between the 2 yellows. Doesn't look to have too much angle there, Alan.
No, he's going to have to force this ball and off the bottom cushion and dislodge it, I think.
Well, we've seen an awful lot of instances where players try to make more than the shot presents. This match table has refused the balls.
Well, Quinton has had a look to see if the red will go off the yellow ball. There's 2 yellows there together. He's having a look if he can play it off that yellow and into the gap, past the yellow over the pocket.
This will be some shot if he gets it.
He needs a little bit of luck there, and he hasn't got it. And also he's bought down some time.
Well, it was a tall order. Now Darren Appleton well and truly in the catbird seat.
And once again, we see what these 2 fellas are going to do. No knocking the yellows about and waiting for another easier opportunity. Straight in for the kill.
Good pot from Darren there.
If he'd have missed that pot, I would have said it was ludicrous, stupid, you name it. But he's got it. He's on the yellow. And he's letting Quinton Hann know that he's forgot all about that 8-2 last year. They've both laid down the gauntlet. And it's Appleton who's come up with the first frame.
England's Darren Appleton opens accounts here against Australia's Quinton Hann. He takes the first frame in this 3rd quarter final and leads by 1-0.
Second frame, Darren Appleton's break.
So Darren Appleton leading 1-0, breaks off in frame number 2. Some very good pots exhibited by both players in that opener. And in the end, it's the Englishman who finds the finish line first. And he's gotten the ball off the break.
Red ball potted.
Good aggressive break off. Cue ball flying around the table. You don't always like to see that. As long as it remains on the bed of the table when the balls stop rolling.
Red ball's in play.
What's the order of the day? And once again, a huge crowd to witness this quarterfinal clash between these 2 titans.
And there you see Darren try to open up the red balls. He knows he's got the red ball over the bottom corner pocket as a saviour. That one's always there should he need it. He may feel he needs it this shot. And he'll like to drop onto the red ball just past the middle as quick as he can. This is the one that's the difficult one. He may be able to get onto it from this shot. Good pot.
Well, these early frames, if they're any indication to how this one's going to go, Darren Appleton is ready. Ready and willing. We said he was the UK #1 professional, and he started 1999 off by retaining one of his titles. And yet, a lot felt that Darren Appleton might finish this one second best.
Can he just screw back into this yellow and hold the white? No, he's having to go around the angles. And this is a very, very tough pot early doors. Test of cueing. It's there.
Right into the pocket. Darren Appleton takes the first 2 frames in this quarterfinal. He leads Quinton Hann of Australia by 2-0. He never got out of his chair in the last one. A break and finish from Darren Appleton. And when you can perform like that, Alan, it doesn't matter who your opponent is.
I think we'll see a little bit more fire in the cue ball this time from Quinton. He didn't pot a ball last time.
So Hann breaking off. Frame number 3.
Open table.
In the break thus far, deserting Quinton Hann, but he did put a little bit more mustard into that one.
But it all came to seed. And Darren's got the opportunity to go 3-0 in front. A wry smile from Quinton. The black ball is the key already.
30 seconds.
It's tied up by 2 yellows. Dan's going to have to take the reds, but he's got to kiss the black ball out at some stage.
Red ball's in play.
Had the cue ball traveled a little further, he would have been able to do it off the red that he's looking at now.
And because of that, he'll probably choose to decline this red and maybe take the red into the top left pocket. It's going to be very difficult to move the black if he takes this one away. Well, not such a neat pot. He didn't really want to go in off the yellow, but the yellow hasn't travelled too far, so he's still on the clearance.
Well, he's got a chance here. I don't know, that one red that is next to the yellow, right in the center of the table right here, I don't know if that will pass down to this corner pocket, but if it does, you might well have an opportunity to try and get after it right here. It doesn't look like it's available.
It's that so you can vivid Canadian imagination,
yeah,
Jim.
You can put quash to my plans very early.
And what about the black? How about this? How do you like this one?
Very nearly dislodged the black right there. A lot of cue power shown here. Screwing that white back off 2 cushions and nearly opening the black up. That was intended.
This is the danger for both of these players. They're both so very, very good. They believe they can finish the balls from anywhere. A party trick to us is a normal finish to them.
30 seconds.
Well, what a shot that is.
The first hiccup from Darren Appleton. He's looked absolutely impenetrable until that particular shot.
Well, the degree of difficulty was tremendous. If he'd have taken that finish out, I think that Quinton would have wondered what he's got to do.
Still a lot of work here.
Yes, he's plenty of problems of his own. He's got the 2 yellows tied on the top left-hand side of the table, and also the yellow by the red ball in the middle of the table.
30 seconds.
They both got to be moved. Looking to see if that yellow ball passes into the top right-hand corner.
Well, center pocket, as I said earlier, when they're played at pace and you try to make a shot a little bit more, these tables have been known to refuse them. And they're case in point.
Well, he hasn't done too much damage as it happens. Darren can only see 1 red ball, and he doesn't really want to move that because it's going to open the complete table up for Quinton.
But it remains to be seen what sort of effect that will have mentally on Quinton Hann, watching that ball jump back onto the surface of the table. Next time he's faced with a similar shot, that little shade of negativity could well creep in.
So he was playing the ball with a tremendous amount of top. Well, now, young Mr. Hann, I think there's a long pot up the right-hand side of the table to the top corner pockets, and you may just be forced to take this one on. Well, I can't see the point in that one. If he missed that double, he was always going to leave Darren in a position of some sort, so he may as well take on the pot up the side cushion. What do you think, Jim?
Well, that was putting all your eggs in one basket. I think he was trying to win and put it on one double.
And what a critical pot this is for Darren at this stage, early stage. If he gets this pot and lands on the next ball.
Well, it's the first little indication of nerves we've seen from Darren Appleton. The elbow went straight down after the cue went through the white there. A little bit of movement. And that was a chance to win.
They play so much pool on the smaller table. They used to just playing that little bit of drag on the ball. Just that little bit of bottom as they drag it around the angles. And he's done too much. With the bigger table, it's took too early. Two choices. And that looks perfect. He's going to feel good about this because he could easily have been 3-0 down.
And this will do the Australians' confidence the world of good, too, to get that first frame, get him out of the gate. And as you said, Alan, when he was staring 3-0 right in the face, to be only the odd frame behind has to be a bit of a boost. This 8 for a 2-1 scoreline. Confirmation, and Quinton Hann has opened accounts here in this quarterfinal. He trails Darren Appleton of England by 2 frames to 1.
So Quinton Hann is on the board, and we're back to the swagger that we're used to seeing him do when he gets to the table. That's the sort of game we expected, and it's 2-1. What about the approach Darren Appleton's put down? Good couple of frames for him as well.
Yeah, it's a great start by Darren Appleton. Burst in, 2-0 up. But I think Quinton will be very pleased there to get that frame on the board, just give him that bit of confidence.
Comment about Darren, though, there are a couple of times where he looks to be playing really well and suddenly comes up with a shot that, you know, doesn't really follow the rest of the game.
That's exactly right. From 2-0, we had a great chance to make it 3-0 and really put in a good cushion. But no, he'd miss a silly ball and Quinton's back at the races.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and Quinton's not one of these guys you want to let back in, is he?
Definitely not.
All right, it's 2-1 at the moment. Let's get back to our commentary for the next team.
So Darren Appleton will be eager to make amends for that missed opportunity in frame 3. He'll be teeing off here, looking to complete a break and clearance as he did to go 2-0 in front. Many times we've talked about how big the break and 8-ball pool is. Being able to plant your opponent in his chair without any reply. And that won't happen here.
Open table.
Open table, and look at the yellows. Another look at it. Number of balls coming close to pockets, but in the end, no friends. Surely, Alan, he must take yellows here.
Yes, he'll take the yellow balls. And we get a complete swing. Dan missed his opportunity to go 3-0 up. And it's his turn not to pot from the break.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he's laughing about something. I don't know what exactly was said to him, but he's potted this and put his head down just to save with a bit of a giggle. Maybe he was just relieved to see that yellow stay down.
Yes, I think he was, but he played that one with a lot of bottom. And I think that it's the top spin that tends to jump them out more. And it all looks quite plain sailing. One wouldn't expect him to miss from here.
Well,
Poor
that wasn't the intended yellow. He was trying to screw back for the one to the bottom left. Just slightly under hit. Good cueing action, though. You can see that cue straight through on the line. That's what we all strive for.
And I'm certain that pot in the middle, which he ran short on, was due to the fact that the ball bounced out earlier. He didn't want to put too much into it. He tried to pot that ball with as little force as he could. That looks perfect to me.
Just really wants to stop the cue ball right about where the yellow is. Leave lots of angle on the last yellow.
It's a bit straighter than I thought.
Natural angle here brings the cue ball between the reds for the black to the opposite corner. Making it look very easy right now. And 2-2 to score. What a match we're in store for here. It's a race to 9, and Quinton Hann and Darren Appleton deadlocked at 2s. At 2 frames apiece. It's right back to the starting blocks. He'll be breaking off here in frame 5.
table.
And yet again, no ball from the break.
A lot of power, and those balls did split very well. In fact, 11 of the 15 top end of the table.
Red ball's in play.
We've discussed this before. These things tend to level themselves out in the early stages. If they don't go in, they seem to go in later. Quinton may have that to look forward to. Now Darren has the last 4 red balls, the last 5 red balls even to look forward to. He's putting the 1 into the top right-hand pocket now. Drop onto 1 of the 2 by the top cushion.
And that might have been the most difficult red he's going to face. A real look of determination.
He's playing very, very, very quickly. He's moving from ball to ball.
Thirty seconds.
Oh, that's a very confident pot. A sure sign that he's ready for the test. And now one good positional play from this last red onto the open black. And once again, a terrific finish from Darren Appleton.
He played it safely. He could have gone between the yellows, but that could go wrong. Awkward cue in a little bit.
A superb finish from Darren Appleton. This is pool play of the highest standard. The Australian is down by the odd frame at 3-2. There we go, frame number 6 already.
He's potted a ball.
Yellow ball potted.
Cue ball could have finished kinder. He almost is forced to start on yellows, if for no other reason, as we see the break once again. The yellows present an easier starter.
Both players are fizzing the white ball around off the break. Before the end of this match, we might see a couple go in. And who pots them might decide who wins the match. He's going to have to choose yellows in this position. No choice.
30 seconds.
Any
Good
chance to
starter.
save? Sorry, Jim. The yellow ball on the side cushion is his problem. There it is, sat behind 2 red balls. And there we can see it. We're marking it up for you. It does pot into the top corner. Little safety shot here from Darren. Off the ball, off the side cushion, and behind the ball.
Bell. 2 visits.
Well, that's careless.
Red balls to play.
That's careless. Cue ball didn't quite get to the cushion there, Alan.
Well, I thought it did, Jim. At first looking, but...
Well, we're not going to be able to tell there. Certainly, first look, I didn't believe it hit the cushion either.
I'd like to see it from behind, Jim. I thought it just did.
Well, either way,
30 seconds.
he didn't need to leave it that close.
Here we go. What do you think?
Well, unless it was touching the cushion, it certainly didn't bounce off it. But either way, as I said, that is a huge let-off for Quinton Hann. And that's one that Darren Appleton may live to regret.
Yes, it's not the nature of the game for Darren to be playing them safety shots. And on the monitor, it is very difficult to see. The referee was in perfect position. He was very quick to call the foul. And here's Quinton's chance to level up again. What's going to be the key shot is when he puts the red ball past the yellow into the bottom corner pocket. What he's going to try and do is dislodge the yellow so that the red ball can pass into that pocket. And he should be playing it as early as possible.
Well, remember, he's got 2 visits with the foul rewarded him from Darren Appleton. So there's no sense of urgency just yet.
Am I mistaken, or did he use a visit to split the red balls open? I think he did. I think he's on 1. He got so carried away with the white ball and the cushion, the game went on without us.
Well, if he does carry 1 visit, this red has to go down.
He needs to hit the cushion about 6 inches up. And he hit it too far up. He must have hit that cushion about 9 inches to a foot up the cushion, I should think.
Well, that's a let-off.
But he's still a favourite.
Well,
the red ball has sat over the bag.
Yeah, saving grace, I was just about to say, Alan. Got a bit of a blessing there in disguise. What's more, he hasn't left Darren anything to get started on.
Trying to sneak this one in. Well, he didn't have a lot to aim for. He could have done that. He could have doubled the yellow, the top side cushion. But that hasn't worked, and 1 good pot from Quinton, and we should be tied up. And he was striking that ball very, very deeply on the right-hand side, and he's almost certainly bent that ball, I should think. Or at least he's looking down the wrong line when he's potting.
Well, these aren't the sort of balls that Quinton Hann normally misses. Anything open, he's such a fluid potter. And I don't feel that Darren Appleton should let him get away with that one. That's a little bit unlucky. He's just weaved a path through those yellows and not dislodged any of them. And he probably can't believe it.
Well, I think he'll be grateful to be still at the table. This frame should be over. He made his mistake earlier. And as a snooker player, you'd have expected that ball to have been potted by Quinton. And there are 2 types of the snooker players. There are them that like to play with the side, and there's others that hit the centre of the ball at all times. One would imagine Quinton plays snooker the same way.
This is still very tough for Darren Appleton. A difficult yellow.
And he needs to get across and back. Now, how tough is this one?
Hampered bridging over the black.
He may decide the double's easier.
Both players fearless. Takes a lot of courage to be able to take balls like this on.
30 seconds.
Well, it's drawing the parallel, isn't it? Is it fearless or is it reckless? That's a very clever shot. What a good shot that is. Brilliant shot from Darren Appleton. He's forced Quinton into playing a safety shot.
Well, it looks to me like Quinton can just stick that red and bring the cue ball right in over into a safety area.
I'm not
Just
sure how
stick the
thin
red.
he is.
That's what he's having a look at right now. And that shot looks like it's on.
He had very little to go for, Darren, though. And at least he's bought himself some time. That's a terrible shot.
Yes, it really was. He needed a thicker contact and less pace. And he won't be happy with that effort.
But it's still not easy for Darren. He's got to get from the last yellow Up the top left-hand side cushion and get back for the black.
And that means this shot's got to be played with a bit of pace. And that just made the shot 3 times harder. Got to get back over the right-hand side of the table.
Hold on to your hat. What a shot.
That deserved of winning a frame. And Dan Appleton has done it. He's 4-2 in front of Quinton Hann, taking the last 2 in a row to lead the Australian by 2.
8th frame, Darren Appleton to break, leading 4 frames to 3.
Appleton breaks off.
Well, he potted a ball, but the white ball was flying into that top corner pocket. And only the red has stopped it.
Another look at his action here with the break. Doesn't really get his body behind it like some players do. The reds or yellows. There's a problem area on the right-hand side.
Yellow ball's nominated.
Just below the center pocket. The 2 nestled together there will have to be developed.
Yellow ball's in play.
And a good opening ball.
And he's got a chance here to take the cue ball right into that yellow and red that I just marked.
He'd like to catch the yellow first. Just push the yellow down the side of the red ball. He's chose to knock the other one out. That one would have potted into the top corner even if he'd have knocked the other 2 apart.
Little uncharacteristic, wouldn't you say, Alan? Normally when he's got a chance, he does attack, and that was an opportunity.
He's still got the yellow ball over the bottom right-hand pocket, and I feel he believes he can move that yellow from there.
But we've seen only too often when you leave it till last.
And he just may have the angle this time to pot this yellow into the centre, come off the bottom cushion with a little bit of side, and knock the yellow ball off the side cushion. We'll see this ball played with a little bit of left-hand side. Huh, what do we know?
I'll have to confess, Alan, I didn't think he could get through to the yellow he just potted either.
No, that's why I didn't see that option.
But far be it for us to second guess what Darren's doing. I still feel that when he had the opportunity to dislodge it, looking into the shot, now he's got to come up with a big one.
30 seconds.
And I feel Darren desperately needs this frame because, to be fair, he's had all the opportunities up to now. And if he's only at 4 all, Quinton would feel tremendous. He's missed that one.
Come on. Red balls to play.
And the red's in play as we see the missed yellow. And the only real difficult red is the one at the bottom of the table as we look. And if Quinton can get to the left-hand side, that shouldn't pose any problems.
He's got 2 red balls perfectly positioned to get over there. He could go over there now if he chose.
Nice cannon into the yellow. He's got to get down the left-hand side of the table eventually. I don't know if the red below the yellow presents an angle to be able to get into ideal position for that red. He's just had a quick look to see if the red passes bottom left, and it certainly doesn't appear like it.
He may be looking for it now.
So this is the shot. This is the one that's going to determine whether he completes victory here. Position onto the last red from this one.
He seems to believe it does pass into this corner
Well, it
pocket.
has to, the way he's played that. Well, this is tight.
It's a bigger space than I first thought.
Ah, tremendous shot. The 8 for 4-4. We've played 8 frames and nothing has been decided between these two. It's England 4, Australia 4 in the person of Darren Appleton and Quentin Hann. And this red, with just enough space to pass safely home, culminating with the final black.
And the question of the day is, Hann can handle. He certainly can. He can handle the pressure. He's come back twice now from 2 down Tony Holgate, and I think that was one of the questions we had in our mind, was if they get under pressure, either player, can they handle it? And he can, can't he?
That's right, Jonathan. I mean, he was 2-0 down with Quinton, back to 2-all, 4-2 down, back to 4-all. You know, he's shown a lot of character out there.
Well, this is what we wanted in terms of the way they're playing, because we know they can play brilliantly. But it's all in the mind, a lot of this now, isn't it? It's psychological. Who's going to win that battle, you think?
It's hard to tell at the moment. They're both giving each other the eye. But Quinton's looking pretty strong to me.
And what about Darren's game?
I think he's rushing a little bit. Got down on a couple of pots. He's just not really queued up. Slapped the ball, missed a few pots.
And if there is a weakness, perhaps, in Quentin Hann's game, he's missing long pots, which for a snooker player is quite unusual. Let's find out what the commentators think. Let's go back to Alan Bartlett and Jim White.
9th frame, Quentin Hann.
Yes, thanks, Jonathan. Well, the one thing that there can be no doubt is that of the two players, Quentin Hann must be feeling considerably better at the moment. He could easily have found himself 5-3 or even 6-2 behind in this one, if not for a couple hiccups from Darren Appleton. So at 4 each, he's got to feel pretty good about proceedings.
And still no ball from the break. It's 4 times out of 5 for Quinton. So Darren gets the opportunity to put behind him the couple of chances he's had in the last 2 frames.
30 seconds.
Rest, please, on that.
There's been very little to choose to this stage. The scoreline confirms what we've seen. This effectively reduced to a best of 9 now.
Yellow ball's in play.
And that makes these early frames in this second session that much more important. Straight screw back here, and obviously try and dislodge the yellow that's glued just below the red.
Or cover the corner bag. Take your pick. Discretion and valour come to mind here at 4 each.
Red balls to play.
And he hasn't covered that as well as he would have liked. It's come back. Onto this knuckle. Left a small gap.
Thirty seconds.
Come on, guys.
I think Quentin took that one on. I don't think he was trying to cover the pocket. And you can cut the atmosphere with a knife in this frame. You can feel the tension. The crowd is suddenly realising that each frame becomes more and more important.
Well, I have to ask the question, if he felt that it was worth dislodging it there, why didn't he do it when it was considerably easier? There he's lost the white and gone straight into the middle pocket, and that's just total inconsistency, not only in thinking, but also in application.
And one feels this match is starting to go away from Darren. He's had loads and loads of opportunities, he's missed them. And although the score's only going to be 5-4 when we see Quinton Hann clear these balls up, he must be very relieved.
Effortless cueing. And short work of these reds. Remember, he's still got a second visit, though I doubt very much that he's going to require it.
Just dribble this one in, there's no need to take the white all over the table.
Well, he might well exercise his second visit after all.
Second visit.
And for the first time in this quarterfinal, Quinton Hann, the 21-year-old from Melbourne in Australia, leads Darren Appleton 5 frames to 4. And Darren Appleton, in trying to dislodge the yellow, saw the white fly straight into the middle pocket. A trifle unlucky, but it must be said, he had the opportunity when it was considerably easier and refused it.
10th frame, Darren Appleton to break, trailing 5 frames to 4.
Look at that break. A beautiful spread of the colors.
Red ball spotted.
And once more, the cue ball never touched a cushion.
Well, he's potted no less than 4 red balls off that break.
Yellow ball's nominated.
And even having potted 4 reds, he's nominated the yellows. And this might not take long either.
He declined to take the reds. He didn't like the red on the side cushion, the top left-hand side of the table. And he's looking down a 12-ball clearance here.
Alan, another interesting aspect that you and I talked about during the break is Quinton had to be feeling very good at 4 each, given the fact he just wasn't breaking well.
Well, Quinton hasn't potted a ball off 4 of his 5 breaks, whereas Darren has potted off every break. Now, normally speaking, with this class of player, you'd expect Darren to be well clear, but he's missed so many opportunities. To be fair to Quinton, his mistakes have been few and far between.
Yellow and black away from 5-5.
And that black ball is just in the position of the red ball Darren missed earlier.
A deep screw.
Very good shot.
Excellent shot. Getting nice and close to that 8.
See if he stays down on this one.
No doubt this time. 8 disappears and 5-5 is the score between these two players. It's a race to 9 and all to play for.
So, 5 apiece, and we are finding one big difference between the two games. At the moment, Darren Appleton's breaking, Tony, is much better than Quinton's.
Yeah, slightly better technique. That last break was absolutely huge. You see the power he generates as he smashes the balls.
1, 2, 3, 4 balls.
Four
and he still
reds.
goes for the yellows.
Well, the yellows were slightly easier. There's a red guarded there on the side rail, but tremendous breaking power from Darren Appleton.
And it's such a big part of this game. If you can get that part of the game right, you are in a big advantage, aren't you?
If you can get your break going, I'll tell you what, you're halfway to winning the match.
All right, well, let's find out. It's 5 apiece at the moment. Let's see who's going to break off this time. Once again, it's Quinton, it looks like.
Frame. Quinton Hann to break, 5 frames all.
Quinton Hann breaks off. Frame number 11 of a schedule 17. Back to the center of the table for the break. And finally he sees a ball disappear, puts his hands up. Thank the heavens. One went down.
Yellow ball's nominated.
A good break, and he's nominated yellows. Big opportunity here. The Australians don't seem too bothered at 5-5. Still looks like flipping a coin to me.
Well, I think it's just as well he did pot a ball from that break, because the yellow ball's
In play.
all there to be potted. There's one near the black. Got to be careful to get on that one. But it does seem to pass into the bottom right-hand pocket. Just a little bit of care needed. Well, he didn't need to be moving that one. He's knocked it into a more difficult position.
Just weighing it up in his mind. How he wants to take the yellows away.
He has been very unlucky off the breaks, but... and he's landed perfect on that one. If Quinton has had a fault, it has been trying to nudge balls around. He doesn't need to. It doesn't appear the yellow ball passes into the top right corner. Otherwise, I think he'd have been down and played that by now.
30 seconds.
And you can see very clearly it doesn't. The yellow below the black does.
And that's going to be his awkward ball, that one. The one he moved earlier. And if this yellow doesn't go into the centre, well, I'm certain it just does. You may have to bend the white ball just a little.
The losing quarter-finalist here will be guaranteed £1,500 for his efforts. And just as importantly, 4 ranking points towards next year's seeding.
No, it still doesn't pass into that pocket, Quinton.
This is the big shot here, Alan. Position onto the last yellow.
And what's interesting is he's been a little shy on position, if anything. He's been under hitting the white ball, and this time he's over-hit it. And now's the big shot. He may be forced to go for this cut into the top left-hand corner pocket. Or off the red ball into the centre. Take your pick. You may as well take this on, Jim. There's nothing to gain by tapping it about.
30 seconds.
Here we go. Top left-hand corner. I don't think he'll be a million miles away.
Left himself too much to do.
Red balls to play.
And Darren Appleton in with an opportunity, if for no other reason than Quinton Hann just could not maneuver that white around to leave himself an easy yellow for the last one. It was always going to be the problem ball. In the end, it might well have proved his undoing in this frame.
Darren needs to leave an angle on this red ball on the side cushion so he can just drop it up the cushion. He doesn't really want to be banging it in. If it sits in the pocket, it doesn't matter. You can play it now, Darren, if you like. Not too hard. If it sits there, it would be the end of the world.
Nice pot, this one.
It's still close to the side cushion. If he has to pump this one in, he's got to be careful it doesn't pop out. Just okay. There's some of his supporters. Come over the Pennines from Yorkshire. We'll take a few quid away from the old Red Rose enemies. That's a good finish from Darren. He'll feel a lot better.
Of Quinton Hann, because he had the first bite of the cherry in that one. In the end, England's Darren Appleton forges 1 frame ahead.
12th frame, Darren Appleton to break, leading 6 frames to 5.
So the UK number 1 breaks off. Frame 12. Made 4 reds his last break. Here 2 yellows depart.
Yellow ball's potted.
Messy down the bottom left.
I think we'll see him take red balls here. And we might see him push this red ball up the side cushion all the way down to the bottom right-hand corner bag.
With just a little bit of a curve.
30 seconds.
I think he'll be trying to pot it a little straighter than that, Jim.
Red ball's nominated.
We're not covering the bags, we're going potting again.
Great shot. Obviously felt more comfortable playing it the unconventional way.
Now he's trying to knock out the bad red, pot this one and screw through the gap. That's terrific cueing.
You get the feeling that Darren Appleton's starting to fancy this a little bit?
Well, he seems to have weathered the storm a little bit, doesn't he? He knows he's thrown some games away. He came out he looked very suspicious at the start of this session. And altogether now he's a different man. The concentration's there.
Quickness in his step.
That didn't have anything to do with it. A tough pot into the centre. Nice pot from Darren. And now, well, I suspect the black ball must pass into the centre pocket. He hasn't looked at that yet. No, it doesn't. It's going to have to go into the bottom right-hand corner, or the right-hand centre. He's overcooked that one a little bit. Can he slide past the yellow on the bottom cushion and go up the side cushion? He's looking there, of 2 cushions. He needs to get a long way up there. I was looking off the bottom cushion here, Jim, down the side. Have another go.
Well, this is the way I think he's going to go.
That's easy to say when he's down on his cue. Well, the black ball doesn't seem to go in that top left-hand corner. It's very close, and don't forget at pool, you can hit the black and yellow at the same time. That's where it differs to snooker. The white ball's smaller, it's just possible that you can hit the 2 balls at the same time and pot that black.
The only problem is he may, well, in potting the 8, knock the yellow into the center pocket.
Depends how straight he gets on it. I think he needs to get just off straight. And he's looking there. He's going to have to take all the power out of the cue ball to stop that yellow going in the center pocket.
This shot looks impossible. If Darren can manufacture this one.
Foul.
Yellow into the center, always looked on.
Yellow balls to play.
It just didn't look possible, Alan.
I think he may have caught the yellow first as well, looking at where the black went. No?
Well, that's one where he's turned it aside yet again. This quarterfinal has been more a case of what Darren Appleton has let Quinton Hann do, because he really has had the controls at a number of instances. And mistakes creeping in, sometimes in the form of poor judgment. With the departure of the 8, Quinton Hann and Darren Appleton are setting the stage here for what looks to be a photo finish.
Frame, Quinton Hann to break, 6 frames all.
Well, Quinton potted the ball in his last break. 6-6.
Open table.
He'll not be too disappointed. He's left the white ball tight onto the top cushion. Not much there for Darren. May decide to leave the white ball on that top cushion. Just screw back off the yellow, just pop it up the table.
30 seconds.
Well, off he goes again. Well, he could put this red into the bottom left cushion, bottom left pocket, and he could cover this bottom right pocket now. If he does go for this pot and screw out and take the red off the left hand side cushion, should he then not complete the clearance, it's all going to be there for Quinton Hann. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And now you know why they play these shots, these two fellas.
Best shot Darren Appleton's played in this match, certainly to the stage. A real confidence booster again for him. You just wonder which Darren Appleton is going to finish this match.
It's the best shot anybody's played in this match. It's just tremendous. Not just the fact he's knocked it out, he's knocked it out with a perfect weight. I don't want to be hitting this one too hard if I was Darren. He's in a couple pot back. And now a little gentle stun into the yellow. Once again, Darren declines to kiss into your yellow. He goes through the gap.
Appleton's back again, 7-6 in front. The rockets being fired at each other. Which one is going to be left standing?
Well, Darren Appleton regains the impetus with that brilliant frame there. And Tony, just one shot can change the whole game, can't it? And that was a superb shot by Darren, wasn't it?
The shot Darren just played there, for me, was the best shot I've seen in this tournament. Absolutely fantastic. The cue ball control and the power in it, but it's the weight, the actual weight of the shot, putting the red right over the pocket and just opening the game up for Darren.
And
tremendous
that was fully
shot.
Intentionally. He wanted it up that middle pocket.
Oh yes, that was a shot to win the game. But I mean, it's just an unbelievable shot. Fantastic.
Well, we've got two of the best players in the game in the quarterfinals at the moment. It's all going on here on Sky Sports. Let's go back to our commentary team.
So Darren Appleton, every time the bell rings, he's back on his feet. He's like a bulldog in this one. Again, both players taking a lot of time and care to ensure they're getting a proper rack.
14th frame, Darren Appleton's
Darren's been breaking very well. I don't know why he'd bother having a look. It's definitely been a major weapon for him. Next time, you do better not to have a look.
Open table.
Nothing down, but it's not easy for Quinton. You may have to choose yellows. The red behind the black would very much put you off taking them. And there's also a group of two reds up at the top left-hand side of the table.
30 seconds.
The yellows on the other hand, we're just looking at the one bad yellow next to the red. And once again we see the beautiful smooth cueing. The Australians applauding that.
Yes, another look, a difficult opener.
I think they're trying to get behind Quinton right now because this frame's very important for him. He wouldn't like to fall two behind with 3 to play.
Time out.
Well, he's just called timeout and asked for the white to be cleaned. I don't think he liked the contact there, intended to follow through.
I think it was the centre pocket play again. I think he was frightened to push through it. I don't think in the end he followed through the ball. Mind having a look at that one?
The whole Australian team, both male and female, here to support Quinton Hann. The final 8 looks to be the most difficult one remaining, apart from that yellow that you alluded to next to the red, Alan.
Well, the 8 goes into the centre bag, and he's delivered. That's perfect. You put the 2 yellows at the top of the table now. Put the yellow into the bottom left-hand pocket, and the black will go into the centre.
When you control the white as well as you've just seen exhibited by Quinton Hann, you break this game down to its simplest form.
And he doesn't look like a player 7-6 down. He still seems calm enough.
Eight into the center. No dangers, the Aussie back again. 7-7.
15th frame, Quinton Hann to break. 7 frames all.
That's 7 frames apiece. Quinton Hann breaks off. We're down to a best 2 out of 3 now.
Open table.
Well, he just can't believe his luck. Once again, he's not potted from the break.
And I think his expression after the break was all you needed to see.
Yellow ball's in play.
A chance for Darren Appleton to return the favour. Quinton Hann just cleared when Darren failed to pot from the break.
And the only awkward yellow is the one next to the black. And they'll have a number of opportunities to try and dislodge that one.
Could easily have found its way into the center pocket, that one.
Had that yellow gone into the middle of the corner, I'm not too sure the white wouldn't have gone in off.
Down would like to play the one up the cushion, knowing that when he puts the yellow into the bottom left-hand pocket next, he's going to move the one awkward one. It's a little bit awkward. I think the yellow may pass into the center pocket.
The one next to the black.
Yes, I think it may.
Well, certainly the way that Darren's going about his work here, he doesn't seem too bothered by that yellow, so I'd have to believe you're right. He's having a look at it right now.
But you could do without shots like that at this stage of the game.
Well, if it does pass, he might well take it from this yellow.
He needs a good angle. He's still got another yellow ball. And you can hear a pin drop out there just now.
Thirty seconds.
Wow. I think I'd like to be on the other side of it. This isn't easy.
But again, this is where the small cue ball comes into play. Normal size, same as black and yellow. This shot isn't on. With the small white, you can get in there.
Where's the white going and where's the black going after this shot? Well, that was the trouble.
Fine clip into the left center, the only shot on.
And the white anywhere. He's just got to roll this in and take pot luck, I think. And pot luck's landed. And this isn't easy either at 7-all.
And what a stroke he just put on that black right into the center of the pocket from tight on the cushion. Darren Appleton, one frame away from a resounding victory here. Darren Appleton breaks off in what he's hoping will be the last frame of this quarterfinal match. A good split, and it could have been.
Open table.
But it's an open table for Quinton Hann. These players have exchanged body blows ever since the initial break-off to commence this best of 17 quarterfinal. Why would there be any reason to think it wouldn't go right down to the final frame?
And that's the second frame in a row. Darren hasn't potted. And the last time Quinton cleared up.
Yellow ball's in play.
And he's nudged that ball. He may be lucky. They may still both pass to that top corner. He's playing the double.
Come on.
I can see a couple going in off the lampshades in a minute.
Nothing easy about this finish, regardless of that pot.
If that hadn't have gone in, then we're all there for Darren. And look how quickly Quinton played that ball. I think he was so frustrated with his shot before.
30 seconds.
Gratefully for him, it's gone in. Well, you'd expect normally for Quinton to run these balls out now. But the pressure's really on now.
Sweaty palm time in the stands and at the table.
30 seconds.
Come on, Quinton.
Now we'll see Quinton pot the yellow ball into the centre. He's going to have to drop onto that one into the centre. It does pot.
Well, he's going to be able to get right behind it. The winning or losing could hinge on that last yellow.
Well, he's further away than he would have liked.
And this is a very acute angle going into that center pocket, and he's looking slightly away from it.
Come on.
A little straighter would have made it a bit easier. Well, this has to be struck perfectly. If it just touches that near bump, it won't go.
It's difficult to judge on the monitor just how far it is from the centre. If it's just 2 or 3 inches, it's not too difficult. If it's a little bit further, it is a difficult shot.
Seconds.
Just a little bit of waver on that cue there. Good pot. Oh, it's got
Just touched the near bump.
It's had the audacity to stop out. I can't believe that. The pocket was virtually swallowing that ball.
Just touched the near bump. Have another look at this.
It's going. Remember, here it goes. No.
A valiant effort. And that's the most difficult red facing Darren Appleton right now.
Darren must play a safety shot. He's got to realise that Quinton Hann can't come off the top cushion and pot that ball over the middle because he's got the red in the way. He can't strike there. Well, this is just ludicrous.
And that is as confident a pot as Darren Appleton struck.
And if he clears the balls from there, he deserves to win. Because that pot, there are very, very few players in the game would have took them on. And it's getting worse. It's amazing.
First 2 shots have not been the conventional way you would have seen it normally.
And now he's good. Can he tickle this red in the centre and drop on the red on the top cushion? He's going to have to drop it very slowly into that centre to hold. See, whilst the red ball was next to the yellow, the first one Darren potted, it was easy to play a safety. If he plays the snooker now, Quinton can come off the top cushion and pot the yellow into the centre. He's committed to go for this clearance.
And it's not getting any easier. He's just making this a lot more difficult than it well could have been. Should have been easy after he took the difficult red to start.
Well, the plant's the one that's really cocked him up. He's put that red ball on that top cushion and he's been struggling ever since.
Seconds.
Betwixt and between right now. Again, a difficult pot.
And he's left the yellow ball through the gap.
And that red never threatened the pocket.
Well, one feels he saw the winning post too soon. One safety shot, and he can now be into the semi-final of the World Championships. You saw how Quinton felt about missing that yellow into the centre. And he's going to be grateful to see this shot.
And should Quinton complete victory in this frame to force a decider, he will be breaking off in the last and 17th frame.
You can't be short on this shot, that's the only thing. Hit it harder. And it looks like a deciding frame.
is the deciding frame. The clenched fist, 8-8, and they're going to be breaking off here to see who's going to go through to the semifinals.
Well, we are out of breath just watching it. Pure pressure pool at the moment, and both these men, well, what can you say, Tony? I can't even speak after that. It was brilliant.
Incredible stuff, isn't it, Jonathan? Here we go. It's one frame now. Winner takes all.
But what amazes me was the double that Quintin tried here at the beginning. I mean, this was lunacy to most people.
The shot is absolute crackers. It's absolute crackers to play that, but what a tremendous shot when it comes off.
You say it's crackers, but if it pays off, right? He's back in it.
Unbelievable stuff, Jonathan. Absolutely unbelievable.
The risks you've got to take at this edge of the game. So hard. And look at that black ball as well. That's a pretty tough one as well.
Nerves of steel the man's got, I'll tell you, Jonathan.
Just shows how much Quintin Hann wants to win this. He's back in it, it's 8-all, and that fist said it all. Well, you could cut the tension with a knife. Darren Appleton knows what the mistakes he's made. Now he's got to put them right. Let's get back down to the action.
And this is the best action, the only spot in town. A one-frame decider for a place in the semifinals. 8 frames apiece.
Final frame, Quintin Hann to break.
Let's go, mate. Come on.
The heavily fancied Quintin Hann breaking off in the last frame of this quarterfinal. Storyline hasn't changed with his break off.
Open table.
Open table. And what twists in the tail are we going to see in this decider?
Well, it's not the best of breaks, is it, for the oncoming player? The black's on the side cushion.
Yellow ball's in play.
Over the pocket would be my shot. But what about you, Darren Appleton?
Well, obviously, as we hone right in on the action.
If he was to cover this pocket, not only does he block the red ball,
30 seconds.
he's also got a black ball on that side cushion. If Quintin wanted to win, he's going to have to move both balls. Well, now you put all your eggs in one basket, and this ain't easy.
And the yellow just below the white as you look. The difficult one doesn't pass to the bottom corner, obviously, because of the red. So that will be something he'll have to contend with at a later stage.
And the yellow ball at the top of the table as well. Very awkward. A lot of red balls in the way. Can't agree with that last shot. And with all the pressure that's going with it, be very surprised if we don't see Quintin get another chance at the table. Straight away he's forced into playing a difficult shot.
And right now, Darren is really suffering. Only once before was he behind at 6-5.
Well, the one thing he can't feel is unlucky in this match. He's had the breaks, he's had the chances. Quintin hasn't potted from so many breaks. And in the last 2 frames, he's just grasped out for that winning line.
Safe to say he won't get a better opportunity than this to win a match. They're confident.
Quinton clearing the bottom end of the table. Sensible move.
30 seconds.
Where's the white? Where is the white?
Come on!
It doesn't get any closer than that.
With each red that leaves the surface, so too do Darren Appleton's hopes of being world champion in 1999.
Well, here we go.
Perfect angle, spinning behind the black to the same pocket.
Come on! Come on!
The 21-year-old sensation from Australia is still on course to become the 1999 world champion. Quinton Hann has defeated Darren Appleton, the UK #1, by the closest of margins, 9 frames to 8.
Well, a quite captivating quarter-final there. Darren Appleton, you saw it on his face. He knew the mistakes he'd made. Quinton Hann got up and stepped up to the plate. Cool hand Hann, as I'm sure he'll be known. Tony, what did you make of that display?
Oh, I'm struggling to catch my breath, Jonathan. Unbelievable. I mean, it's a cracking finish from Quinton at 8-all. You know, all the pressure that's on him. You know, he just, nerves of steel. I've said that before. The man has got nerves of steel. We
said at the top of the programme that when these two players are firing and they're playing lesser players, other players fall very easily. But these two players play a similar game, and neither of them fell.
That's right. Alan Bartlett made a good point in commentary when he said it was a pair of gunslingers stood there. I mean, it's an unbelievable match.
It really was. And I have to say, no disrespect to Darren, but it's a big one for Quinton because he has come here, and if he's right, he's right. And he'll want to go all the way now. No question about it. Darren's had glory in this game. Quinton hasn't.
That's right. And just who could be lurking in the semi-final? Mr. Kendall from last year.
Oh, of course.
If he beat Yannick.
That is interesting. We talked about the fact that he'd beaten Darren Appleton, and of course, he was, what, 7-1 ahead of Lee Kendall, and Kendall came back and beat him.
Yes, he'll want to avenge that defeat, no doubt.
No question about it. How good is this player? He's only 21.
Quinton Hann is different class. The man is unbelievable. I mean, at snooker, he's been one of the, you know, rising young stars of the game, but Paul, he's just unbelievable.
All right, well, let's find out from the man himself. He's with Estelle Matthews.
Well, Jonathan, I'm standing with this amazing Australian. I'm about to find out just how he did it. That was outrageous. What were you doing? You clawed your way back there. It went 17 frames. It was amazing.
That was a great game. I still can't believe I've won it.
Well, is that all you can say? I mean, that truly was a magnificent feat, wasn't it?
I still can't believe it because Darren is one of the best players on the UK tour, and he potted a lot of balls off the break, and I think I only potted one in the whole match, and that's a big advantage. I think he played actually. I feel like he was going to win the match all the way through. I felt like I was the underdog, and I've just sort of like clawed the last, I think, 2 frames. It's just, I'm really surprised. Honestly, I feel sorry for him. The way he played, I think he probably deserved to win a little bit more than me.
He was pretty much in control for most of that game, wasn't he? Now, you're predominantly a snooker player, but this game suits you so well. Are you going to stick with it?
I love 8-ball more than snooker. Like, the adrenaline you get out there because the games are so short, and you can lose a match just like that. But snooker's paying the bills at the moment. But I think pool is definitely my favourite game.
And what does that do for your confidence to go through to the semi-final now?
I think I've got another tough game there against Lee Kendall. I played him last year, and last year I was playing very good, and he beat me 8-7. I was 7-3 up. So this would be sweet revenge, hopefully.
Well, hang on, you're predicting that it's going to be Lee Kendall. We'll have to wait and see, but congratulations, that was amazing. Well, Jonathan, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Estelle. Yeah, from underdog to top dog, and he summed it up, really. I mean, he didn't expect to win that match.
No, like you say, Darren Appleton, he was in control most of the game. He led 2-0, he led 4-2. You know, he led throughout the match, really, and he let it go, in my opinion. But Quinton Hann, you know, what a character.
We're in for a cracking end to this tournament, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right, let's update you on the quarterfinals so far, and it looks like this. Carl Morris